everyone, this is Jackie from Cathcart Creations, and you can kind of hear Tico in the background. He says hi to everyone. Do you need to burrow, baby? Burrow puppers? We are in the bedroom recording because it's the place with the least amount of ambient noise interference. But anyways, little side tangent. Today we are watching a speed paint of me doing an illustration of my D&D character Gwenievere, and for topics of conversation today, I'm going to introduce to you who Gwenievere is and what her backstory is a little bit, what inspired me to do another illustration of her, and also my methods, favorite elements, and struggles when creating this piece. So to start, Gwenievere, like I said, is my D&D character, and in the background for the past month and a half, I would have to say, since I created her for D&D, I have been doing a story and world building project for Gwenievere, separate from her adventures with Dungeons and Dragons and the campaign that I'm doing with my husband and our friends. But there are a lot of intricacies of her world that are still coming into fruition and detail and such. But just to give you guys a small idea of who Gwenievere is, I thought I would share a small summary of the story that I kind of have in mind for her. Gwenievere Galanodel has known several privileges in her life, but she has longed to know where she belongs in this world. Being a half-elf isn't easy, especially when you are an illegitimate daughter to a moon elf noblewoman. Born to Althea Galanodel, she grew up in the elvish haven of Teuve home with her two siblings, Nyla and Aaron, her mother, and her stepfather, Orthorian Cianodel. When she was 14 years old, she started showing signs of being able to perform druidic magic. So, against what moon elf culture normally allowed, she began druidic training. She was tutored by her own mother, who was one of the high sisters in the druidic religion of the moon goddess Selûne. By the time she was 20 years old, she knew enough to become one of the druidic sisters. On the same day of her initiation into the Druidic Sisters, she announced herself ready to be an adult, chose a new name where she changed her name from Gwen to Gwenievere, and learned a secret regarding her future in Elven society. Due to the cultural rules of Elven nobility, when her mother had a secret romantic relationship with a human paladin and bore his child, her stepfather, Orthorian, made a condition with Althea, her mother, that they could raise Gwen, but once she became an adult, she would not be allowed to marry within Elven society, let alone have romantic relationships. This saddened her, but she didn't feel love for anyone outside of her family. That is, not until she was 22 years old, when she participated in one of the ritual dances for the Erlenave Galanodel, or winter solstice celebration, and met Silithiel Anastasia, an elven lord and paladin from a neighboring haven. What started as a good relationship, as a good friendship, soon blossomed into a beautiful romance. But would they be found out, or would they be able to stay together? So that's the summary of Gwenievere's backstory that I'm kind of starting to make into a little bit of a mini novella, possibly, or I don't know if I want to go the whole like graphic novel side of things, because that sounds like a lot of work. I mean, either way it's a lot of work, but doing it as a graphic novel sounds like it would be a lot more work. But what do you guys think of this idea? If you like it, leave your comments below, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. But anyways, now that you guys know a little bit about who Gwenievere is, I had previously done a character design of her. A basic one where she's just standing kind of in a calm, ready to go pose. That it does a good job of illustrating what she looks like, but I wanted to make a more dynamic pose of her and also kind of include a little bit more of a background rather than just kind of what I imagined the flag of the Moon Elves would look like. So here we are watching this speed paint video of me doing this illustration of her, and I used a couple of apps that were really awesome with helping me complete this project. So to make the pose, I used an app called Magic Poser, which allows you to make 3D models, and you can drag the limbs and the body and the hips and like all the different parts around to be able to make poses and stuff, and you can play with lighting and all that jazz. So I used Magic Poser to make the initial pose, and then for the overall illustration I used an app called Medibang Paint, which is, both apps are free in the App Store, and they are both pretty good apps. The only thing I could say as a negative note for Medibang is whenever you leave the canvas that you're working on, they typically play some sort of advertisement for something else not related or somewhat related to what you're doing in the app, and it's just a little distracting, but at the same time it's what keeps the app free for people to use. So moving on into some of my favorite elements of this project. I enjoyed doing art overall in all of the stages and stuff, but in this piece I feel like my favorite parts were shading and adjusting the layers so she better fit what I was looking for. And with the shading, whether it was the skin, hair, clothes, armor, boots, what say you, it was really fun to kind of play with, okay, the light source is coming from this way. I have the base model showing where the light is coming from, but I didn't have like the clothes elements and the armor elements. I had to kind of figure out how the lighting worked on its own when it came to more specific parts of her character design. Along with the favorite elements, I also did have a little bit of struggles with facial expressions, which I kind of talked over while I was fixing her face. She started out with this weird, determined look, and I wasn't sure that's what exactly I was going for, so I changed her face to show a little bit more of a worried facial expression, which I feel like I was able to get that emotion portrayed pretty well. But something that I've been thinking about doing is doing a 25 facial expression challenge with Gwenievere and maybe with whatever other characters that I decide I want to illustrate, so I can better get an idea of what it is that they look like when they are exhibiting different emotions. Another thing that I struggled with a little bit was body orientation. Foreshortening has been one of the hardest things that I have dealt with, and I've been working on different body positions and the like. But even with that said, I did still have some problems with her right arm and her right foot, which to you guys is the arm towards the center of the screen and her front facing foot. So to fix both of those problems, I either resketched the what I was trying to do, or I went and just kind of tried to maneuver and fix how the sketch layer itself looked. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. But yeah, I really loved doing this illustration. I feel super passionate about this project because to me, Gwenievere is an extension of myself, because in my years, I feel like I have kind of also struggled with trying to find where it is that I belong in the world. I don't have kind of the same problems that Gwenievere does, but I can imagine how difficult it would be to be in her place. But this illustration of Gwenievere herself took about 12 hours to complete, and the background took probably about 10 hours. I didn't actually log the amount of time that I spent on the background, but I did for Gwenievere because you guys are seeing the footage. But if I was doing this in one of my other styles with actual line art, it would have been a shorter process. But I really wanted this to kind of look like have a softer style and be a little bit more painterly, and I just really enjoy doing this style, even though it takes me twice as long as doing just the regular line art style that I have started out with. But anyways, we are coming here to the end of the video. I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching this video and for all the support you guys give me on social media. You guys are super awesome. And if you're new here and you like this video, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this video with your friends and family on social media. Also, check the links in the description below to check out my Facebook page, my Instagram, and my website. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay inspired and create, and have a great day. Bye.